Here's some of what we have lined up for you today here on the Now. A hotel, probably not the place you'd expect to find a new pet for your family, but that is an idea that is spreading to give dogs in shelters a second chance. Plus, people getting lice on their eyelashes. Seriously, we're going to get into why this is happening now and how you can prevent this. In bypass surgery, it's a common procedure to help people with heart disease, but it can be expensive and a tough decision to make. The new evidence saying that rushing to go under the knife may not be the answer.
Thank you, Chris. I'm Amanda Starantino, and you're watching the Now Indy. Hamilton County first responders say they don't want to miss a moment when you are in an emergency. And if you sign up for Smart 911, they won't have to. Troy Washington is working for you, taking a look at how additional information can make all the difference in a crisis.
Every minute matters during an emergency.
About a year ago, my nephew, Kyle Plush, called 911 twice in an emergency situation in Cincinnati. He was not found.
Plush tried to call 911 by using his iPhone's voice-activated Siri after getting trapped inside of a minivan at school. The loss hurts, but pushes Jody Schwind to make sure no one else suffers while in trouble.
80% of the emergency phone calls come in through a mobile phone. And without Smart 911, when you make that phone call, that person on the other end of the phone answering your call knows nothing about you.
Schwind lives in Hamilton County, where the recent rollout of Smart 911 gives her peace of mind on her quest. She can now rest assured as long as people sign up, first responders will be equipped with extra information to help them know where to go and how to help and who else to call once they arrive.
I would encourage everybody to take the 5 minutes to download the app or go to the website and input just basic information about yourself or your family.
Dispatchers typically find themselves relying on getting a hit off of a cell phone tower to figure out a latitude and longitude to find the caller, but Smart 911 allows people to simply enter their address. Jeff Schemer says when he took the job as Executive Director of Public Safety Communications in Hamilton County in February, getting Smart 911 rolling was at the top of his list.
Awesome. Now, granted, this is all secure. We have no way to go in and search this. The only way we have access to it is when they dial 911 and we answer that phone.
Users can share a picture of their home, contact numbers for family members, even passcodes to give first responders access to their home during emergency, giving people the power to share as little or as much as they'd like. Working for you in Hamilton County, Troy Washington, RTV6.
To sign up, families can use either a smartphone or a computer. Right now, Hamilton County leaders say around 400 people signed up. Since the very new feature to the county, they are still trying to get the word out. A hemp processing plant is now open in central Indiana to turn the state's first legal crop into a market-ready product. Kentucky-based Third Wave Farms opened the plant last month in Kokomo. The 22,000-square-foot facility is equipped with machines that can dry and process over 75,000 pounds of hemp a day. It's used in dozens of CBD-based products, including CBD oil. CBD oil is a compound derived from hemp and marijuana that does not cause a high, but which many people see as a way to better health. The facility currently employs 10 people. Taking a live look outside now at Monument Circle, where it's pretty dark out there already.
It is. This is the kind of picture here. If you're just listening to the TV and you can't see it right now, gather around, everyone. Doesn't that look awesome? I love it when the city lights are
all lit up,
coming to life. And yeah, the sun sets. Of course, we didn't see much in the way of sun today. Circle becomes the focus here as we roll into the holidays. Temperatures, I mentioned, change very little all day long because of this. Once the air is saturated, it's hard to move the temperature. That wind west at under 10 miles per hour and the sun set at 5:27. Doesn't help that we've got all the clouds around, limiting any kind of light on the horizon. Chance of showers tomorrow, most likely probably mid-morning in central Indiana, a little earlier to the north and west, and may mix with a couple of melting snowflakes. Temperatures lower 40s south and west to the mid-30s up toward Tipton. It's 37 in Peru. Temperature in Greenfield at 38. What's ahead this evening? Clouds are going nowhere. Temperature will change very little. Tomorrow, at least temperatures will climb into the upper 40s. We'll zero in on the timing for the showers coming up.
Reducing new HIV infections may be as simple as ordering test kits online. The CDC spent a year identifying men who are potentially at risk on places like dating websites, then mailing them HIV self-testing kits. Now, these were people who thought they were HIV negative or they didn't know their status at all. Well, there are twice as many new HIV diagnoses in men who were mailed those free test kits than those who didn't get the kits at all. Now, the men who received the tests were told to share kits with people in their social circles, and that led to an additional 34 identified infections.
Having an opportunity where you can do this online, where there's no contact with healthcare providers, where you can be free from being stigmatized, is a huge boon.
The Foundation for AIDS Research estimates that 14% of people with HIV in the U.S. still haven't been diagnosed, meaning they don't know they're positive. The CDC estimates that group is responsible for 38% of new cases every year. Now, there is a stigma they point to that prevents many people from getting tested, and research shows that once someone does learn they're HIV positive, they do take the steps to prevent passing it on.
You can be HIV positive and your partner cannot have HIV, but you can still have children and not pass HIV onto your partner or onto your children. You live a long and productive life. And as a big difference from the past as well is that you don't take as many pills for HIV as many people had taken in the past.
HIV self-test kits are available online through pharmacy websites. You can also get them on Amazon. Let's turn to the Now News feed. The United Nations calling out the United States today. A UN study says the U.S. has the highest rate of children in detention in the world, and that violates international law. The U.S. has more than 100,000 in immigration-related custody, according to this report. 8 witnesses going to testify this week in the impeachment probe hearings. Democrats trying to prove that the president threatened to withhold aid from Ukraine unless that country investigated his political rivals. All these witnesses have already spoke with investigators behind closed doors. Well, there is so much talk about the 2020 census, and look, it determines where a lot of money goes. In fact, researchers now say that the census will determine where $1.5 trillion in money will go, which is more than previously thought. Let's get back to our lineup. And bypass surgery is a common procedure to help people with heart disease. But let's face it, it can be expensive, can be a tough decision to make. The new evidence saying that rushing to go under the knife may not be necessary.
Come take a test drive at Honda of Fishers.
Losing a loved one is tough at any age, but the Indiana Donor Network is launching a new week-long camp for children that's the first of its kind in Indiana. It's a way to support children as they grieve the loss of loved ones, who was also an organ donor and is now known as a donor hero. Through this camp, children will have access to pediatric therapists and a community of peers who have experienced the same pain.
And it's an opportunity for the kids to be with kids who are going through a very similar grief process. And it's finally someone that they can relate to and maybe talk to and express some of those feelings that they've been having.
The Indiana Donor Network is hoping you can help make this camp free for the children who need it by donating to their Angel Fund. We've got it linked for you on the RTV6 News app.
What we've always thought about heart procedures and treatment is changing. NYU researchers say they have strong evidence that shows that stents may be unnecessary for some patients. Now, stents are wire mesh tubes that open up clogged arteries. They're used to improve blood flow in patients with severe but stable heart disease. Researchers say that stents only fix a small area of the heart. Now, medicine can affect all the arteries, including spots that are just starting to clog. Doctors also found that patients who had a heart procedure were more likely to suffer a heart problem or die within the next year than those who only used medicine. Now, cardiologists who weren't part of this study say that medicine has improved in recent years and brings more benefits and fewer risks.
I think the bottom line message from this study is that many patients with stable symptoms, not having a lot of chest pains, will do just as well treated with medicines alone compared to medicines plus fixing their heart blockages.
Cardiologists say, while saying that these findings are significant, that they are unlikely to change medical practice. Air safety regulators are now looking at new ways to certify planes. This comes after safety issues involving the Boeing 737 MAX. The FAA telling the Wall Street Journal the administration could be involved in the design of new planes. The FAA may also have more conversations with plane makers as they develop these new models. Plus, the FAA would like to make sure that human factors are a higher priority, including factoring in just how airline pilots pilots react in emergency situations. Ahead in our lineup, more than 6 million animals end up in shelters nationwide every year. Now, a unique effort trying to get more of them in forever homes.
The guest just gives us their room number, and the sweet little puppy goes up.
Yeah, how one hotel is seeing success giving dogs a second chance and how this idea is spreading.
For only $89 for On Time.
Let's start the Now news feed. An 8-year-old raised more than $50,000 for homeless veterans. The Maryland boy has helped 3,000 vets. He gives out hero bags that have gloves, a blanket, a sweater, and soap. European Space Agency thinking of ways to reach other planets. Researchers are looking into how astronauts could hibernate on long trips to places like Mars. That's a trip that would take about 180 days. The agency says it's looking at what kind of spacecraft could make that trip. Redbox will no longer sell Disney movies digital download codes. This is a result of Disney suing Redbox. Now, the codes came with Blu-ray and DVDs, and Redbox, they have a deal with other companies like Warner Brothers to do this, but they do not have one with Disney. Well, imagine going to a hotel, you check in with your luggage, and when you check out, got yourself a new pet, a pet that otherwise might not have had a home. And as Maya Rodriguez explains, it's an idea that's spreading and helping abandoned pets get a second chance at a forever home.
In the lobby of this Mississippi hotel, people aren't the only ones checking in and out. So are the dogs.
They see that cage. They're like, what is it?
This is the temporary home for Basil, a 6-month-old terrier mix up for adoption from a local shelter and ready for checkout in the hotel's lobby.
The guest just gives us their room number, and the sweet little puppy goes up.
And if the guest wants to adopt them, the dog goes home with them upon checkout. It's part of a partnership between this Home 2 Suites hotel near Biloxi and the Humane Society of South Mississippi. The idea, the brainchild of sales director Teresa Johnston.
It's that simple, and they've given us the ability to adopt right from the property.
Let's go get him. The hotel hosts one shelter dog at a time. All are already spayed and neutered. An out-of-the-box effort to try and deal with overcrowding at the local animal shelter.
And we have to go out into our community and get a little bit more involved in ways that people wouldn't really associate an animal shelter with. And so that's a big part of why this program is so successful, is because they don't expect to see a shelter dog.
Since the program began late last year, more than 30 dogs have been adopted at the hotel by people who fell for those puppy dog eyes. And the hotel is seeing an added benefit too.
And a lot of people stay at this hotel because of this program, and a lot of people spread the love.
Such a good boy.
Puppy love, that is. In Biloxi, Mississippi, I'm Maya Rodriguez reporting.
Maya, thank you. And in addition to the hotel in Biloxi, another hotel in Mississippi has also started a program after they learned about this one.
All too often during the holiday season, we hear of Grinches who want to ruin your Christmas spirit by taking what's yours. Now the Indianapolis Metro Police Department is making a push to protect shoppers, their property and homes near busy shopping centers. IMPD's Holiday Helper program has been in place since 2015, and police say it has helped deter an uptick in property crimes near 82nd Street, Glendale, and shopping centers in the area. Metro Police will beef up patrols, plus they'll touch base with store managers to gauge any concerns, but police say we all play a role in reducing crime during the holiday season.
What we're asking people is just kind of slow down, take an inventory of their vehicle, what items are out and visible. Things like change in the cup holder, cell phone cords, you've got the radar detectors and things of that nature, any electronics, but then also we go down to purses, bags, presents, things of that nature that people can see from the window, and we ask them to kind of put those in the trunk, or there's an opportunity for them to bring a blanket and kind of cover them.
Metro Police say the number of vehicle break-ins rises during the holiday season, especially in retail areas. Police will also do vehicle inspections in parking lots and pass out flyers listing best safety practices.
And we were talking about holiday gifts, right? I mean, don't forget weather. I mean, a good thermometer is very exciting. An anemometer, all the ometers, a hygrometer.
I'm taking notes, Kevin.
Cool
I hear
stuff.
Ya.
All right, Bankers Life Fieldhouse is down there somewhere. Let me kind of look and see. All right, on the left-hand side, the Pacers are on the road tonight. All is quiet there right now. Temperatures are unchanged here in the last hour. They've changed very little all day long. Clouds everywhere. Temperature in Bloomington's at 41. That's an exception to temperatures that are in the upper 30s. That west wind under 10 miles per hour. Showers along the east coast. We've had our drizzle, mist, and some fog upstream to the north and west. Minnesota and Iowa, that will be some shower activity that drops to the south and east. That will increase our chance for showers tomorrow morning. May mix with a couple of snowflakes in the northern half of the state. A cloudy night in progress and stays that way. Temperature by 10 o'clock, 35. We should make it down to around the freezing mark in a few spots in the morning. The wind will remain light during the morning hours tomorrow. Lower 30s to mid 30s. Just after we start to warm up, I think, is when most of the moisture arrives. This is 9 a.m. Western Indiana, starting to see more showers by 11 into central Indiana at 1 o'clock. Between 1 and 4, an expansion of the showers in the eastern portion of the state. Nothing particularly heavy, but obviously you want to have an umbrella or a jacket if you're out. Temperature 42. The wind out of the southeast at 5 will hit 47 for the afternoon high. If you're shopping around, other temperatures from 44 in Kokomo to about 48 in Bloomington. We'll go into the 50s when I come back.
Well, we know that seatbelts save lives, but over the last 4 years, there's been no real change in getting people to buckle up who are in the back seat. The Governor's Highway Safety Association has new numbers on rear seatbelt use. More than 800 unrestrained people died in the back seat in crashes. Now, more than half may have lived had they been wearing a seatbelt. The report also found that people are less likely to buckle up when they're in a taxi or ride-sharing vehicle. And another thing experts say that you really need to know is that you're not safer just because you're in the back seat.
Because there's been so much progress made with occupant protection in the front seat, whether it's sophisticated new kinds of airbags or technologies like that, that the front seat has actually surpassed the rear seat in safety.
Now, research shows that more people wear seatbelts in states where it's a primary offense if you don't have a seatbelt on, which means if you don't have a seatbelt on, an officer can pull you over just for that. Now, seatbelts, they can be uncomfortable for pregnant women. Some moms are turning to a new option, but is it safe to use? Annie Taylor's finding that out.
It's twins this time, so that's definitely going to be an adventure.
Moms-to-be Leah and Kira Rummold are excited for the babies to arrive, but are taking extra precautions.
For high-risk pregnancy, it's a lot different when you've got twins.
Besides diapers, cribs, and clothes, they went as far as purchasing a maternity seatbelt for Kira. Yes, a seatbelt to fit around the baby bump.
We saw some disturbing images, what it could look like if there were to be an accident or like an abrupt stop, what would happen with a regular seatbelt covering over the belly.
OBGYN Dr. Beth Caraway says worrying is the most common feeling among mothers.
Whether it's a standard uncomplicated pregnancy or a pregnancy that's more high risk, all of a sudden women start to worry about the things that we do in everyday life and wonder if those things are safe for them.
For Leah and Kira, the maternity seatbelt was never something they thought of until they saw it on Amazon. And it was less than $25. So they decided to give it a try.
The seatbelt is a regular seatbelt, but the bottom part, it like hooks in between the legs. Versus covering the belly.
The couple knows a maternity seatbelt might be considered extreme, and Dr. Beth Caraway says be careful when purchasing certain safety products.
There are so many things out there, and it can be really hard to know, what's correct on, the product's website.
Besides reading reviews on the product, Dr. Caraway suggests always consulting your doctor before making a purchase like this. And to remember, a baby is safest in the belly.
Babies are inside of the amniotic sac, which is also inside of the uterus, which is, a very thick muscular wall that provides a lot of protection for growing babies.
Wearing a standard seatbelt while pregnant is Dr. Caraway's recommendation, solely because not enough studies have been done on the safety of maternity seatbelts. But she knows that moms need to do what's right for their baby. And for Leah and Kira, it gives them peace of mind.
Life's so short and valuable, and we don't want anything to happen to these little babies or baby mama.
I'm Annie Taylor reporting.
Annie, thank you. And the famous Salvation Army red kettlebell ringers are going digital. Now, since a lot of people, let's face it, just don't carry cash or change that much anymore, the volunteers will accept digital donations this year using Apple or Google Pay. All you have to do is tap your smartphone on a sticker to make a donation, and if you have an older phone, there's a QR code that you can scan to donate to. Salvation Army volunteers will still take cash and change as well. Now, the post office making reaching Santa, it's a little bit easier. So grab your phone, take a picture of this address. It is Santa's full exact address for all those Christmas wish lists. You see it right there, 123 Elf Road, North Pole, zip code 88888. The post office says the full address will help them deliver the letter faster, and if anyone wants to help Santa out, people can adopt and fulfill some of those wish lists through Operation Santa on USPS's website. All right, next in our lineup, lice now showing up in a place you likely never expected. We're looking into why more eye doctors are seeing them on people's lashes. We're going to talk about how to prevent this.